Today, we are going to get in a flock tournament on Underdog. We are going to get into a $500 draft on Underdog. And we will do a regular redraft mock draft at the end of this on flockfantasy.com. Let's go ahead. Let's get in the Flock Community Contest 5. I'm sure you've heard me say this 1,000 times, but these Flock Community contests on Underdog drop every Sunday night, every Tuesday night, and every Friday night until the season starts. $10 buy-in, $44,000 prize pool. This is a $10,000 first place prize, $5,000 second place prize, all the way down the line. If you're looking at the advancement structure, you have to be the highest scoring team in your 12-team draft to advance to the Fantasy Football Playoff Tournament, where in Week 15, you'll go up against one person. If you beat them, you'll advance to Week 16, where you'll go up against one person. And if you beat them, you'll go up against 100 people in the Week 17 final. So, really exciting format, in my opinion. One of my favorites. Obviously, y'all helped me come up with it in the live chat, so I hope that you like it as well. And you can only do a max of 3 of these. So we'll definitely get in one. I'm in the $500 draft lobby as well on another screen. That's this right here. There are 3 spots open in that. Now only 2 spots open in that. So in reality, we're probably only going to be able to get a little warm up going in the Flock Community Tournament until we hop into the $500 one. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for everyone stopping by. Dr. Goose says, cue the title, everything has changed. Well, we are not too far away from week 1 where everything will change. And Spicy Yacht, I saw that you texted me. I'm very sorry that I haven't had a chance to read it, but I'll definitely look at this right after the stream. But thank you for coming by, my guy. Cornbread says, Saints are going to be abysmal this season. So one thing that I'm doing and spent the majority of the day today working on is I am collecting a bunch of different sportsbook data, specifically with like season-long player props. I can just go ahead and show this. I'm not done with it. I'll probably finish it tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'll post it on flockfantasy.com. But collecting a bunch of these season-long props, I specifically did so first at wide receiver, and I will go ahead and get the running back position done, get the wide receiver position done the tight end position done very soon. So when we get that on the site, it has everything. We are here on the clock at Big Ten. I'm going to take Puka Nacua. Completely understand why people are worried about the Matthew Stafford injury, but let me go ahead and show you something that maybe makes you feel a little bit better about it. We'll see. But speaking of the Saints being a disaster, one thing that we got was the newest team projections from sportsbooks at a team level with total points scored this year. And you do have the Saints projected to be the second lowest scoring offense in the league, only ahead of the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns and the Saints are well below the rest of the NFL with these projections. So I agree with you. The Saints are going to be a debacle, but they're pretty cheap for that reason. I'll take Derrick Henry. We have some type of flexibility. And again, in the Flock Community Contest, I think that Derrick Henry is probably a better fit here just because you need so many points in the regular season to advance to the Fantasy Playoff Tournament. But Teresa, happy to see you. And we are just now starting this stream. And let's see. Perfect Penalty says, are we getting the Flock League again this year? Yes, I don't know if you've had a chance to see, but we actually posted a video on the Flock League YouTube channel already this year. We opened up auditions for a new member of the Flock League. Nobody left, but we have 3 developers who work on flockfantasy.com, and I am making those 3 developers share a team this year. And for that reason, we opened up 2 spots in the league. We gave away 1 to the full-time editor who's going to be editing the Flock League videos. Should make the channel 10 times better now that we have a full-time editor. And we gave away the spot to a fan. We did a big audition. 200 people sent in clips, and we reacted to them and picked somebody new for the Flock League. So that video is already out, but the Australians are already here. I actually saw them for lunch today. The Australian Sal and I all got together for lunch. And everybody else gets in on Wednesday. We determine draft order on Thursday, and we have our draft on Saturday. So this is the biggest draft week for me personally of the entire year, like by far. And let's see, Amari Hampton off the board here, pick 30. So we have a lot of flexibility at this point. And oh crap, the $500 draft actually just filled. So I'm going to have to finish this flock draft on another screen, but I need to go ahead and pull up the $500 one, which is right here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's move this over, and we are in a spot at the end of the draft, pick 11, where honestly, I really like this draft slot because we are guaranteed to get 2 players that I personally view as round 1 profiles. Now, obviously, let me reiterate here. If you are new to Underdog, for the love of God, do not go and immediately hop in a $500 draft. Underdog at the moment has perfect tournaments open for new users. The tournaments I would recommend if you are new, one, the Flock League tournaments. The Flock Fantasy tournaments, the community contest, and also the Puppy 3. This is a really good tournament for anybody who's new as well. $5 buy-in here. So do not hop in a $500 one, but this is the big dog. I actually won this tournament back in the day for $100,000, which was pretty nice, and we're going to try to take it down again. We'll see if we're able to get it done. And obviously, if you're not already on Underdog and you want to get in these drafts with us, we're doing these every single night till the season starts. We'll do a lot cheaper ones, don't worry, like the Flock League tournaments. And if you wanted to draft, I always leave the link in the description, comment section, live chat, says draft with us here. And if you use promo code FLOCK when you sign up to Underdog Fantasy, you will get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. And you will get all of our 2025 fantasy football rankings and draft guide cheat sheets. So definitely take advantage of that. And those sheets will get sent to the email address that you signed up to Underdog Fantasy with. So just make sure that you check the email that you signed up to Underdog with. If you made that $10 deposit and use promo code FLOCK, they should be sent your way. Now, let's see. We have McCaffrey going ahead of Justin Jefferson here. Malik Neighbors off the board at pick 8. I mean, Neighbors is somebody that could have made it to us at 11, but those top 7 players were never expecting to make it to us at 11. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes at 9. And let's swing this around. Puka Nacua off. We'll just take Nico Collins. We'll keep it boring. We're really going to keep it boring here at the turn. I just think that these are the clear best players available. I've allotted Devon Achane because we were taking him ahead of Derrick Henry pretty early on. Y'all know I don't have a ton of Derrick Henry. We were taking Devon Achane at a cheaper cost. So I'd be okay getting Brian Thomas here at pick 14 because, again, I don't have as much Brian Thomas as I do Achane. So we'll take him. We'll start wide receiver. And again, I think these first 14 or 15 players all have round 1 profiles. Where in a different year, you could realistically see somebody like Brian Thomas Jr. that had the season that he did as a rookie last year be going in round 1. BP, always happy to see you, my friend. And so let me pull up actually what we have with some of the tools on the site regarding these players. Because I know it maybe seems crazy for me to say, oh, we got 14 round 1 players, and it maybe is hyperbolic. Maybe it'd go, you always say that. This isn't a special year whatsoever, but no. I really do want to just make sure we hammer this in, that this is a very special instance. Like if we go ahead and look at wide receivers that had a similar year to Nico Collins since the year 2008. You have Demaryius Thomas in 2013. Following year, he averaged over 21 points per game. Des Bryant in 2013. Following year, he averaged 20 points per game. AJ Green, following year, averaged 17. AJ Brown, 2022, following year, averaged 17. Jordy Nelson, 2011. Eric Decker, 2013. The only real fall-offs that you had were like Randall Cobb, Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and obviously Ayuk's was due to the injury. And then we go ahead and we look at Brian Thomas, and Brian Thomas's range of outcomes are almost more exciting in a way. And that if we go ahead and we look at all rookie seasons that were the closest comparable to Brian Thomas since the year 2008, according to flockfantasy.com, Yeah, Jamar Chase 2021, AJ Green 2011, Julio Jones 2011, Michael Thomas 2016, Olave, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey, Malik Neighbors. Like, Brian Thomas was phenomenal with garbage quarterback play last year. And obviously a much better coaching staff this season. And let's pull this back. Dom says, why didn't you go Genty Bucky? I don't know if you're joking, but Ashton Genty, Bucky Irving would be a much worse start than Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, at least on Underdog. Like, if you go ahead and if you look at my rankings on flogfantasy.com, my rankings on this site are made for your regular redraft leagues. So yeah, I'll have like Genty and Achane ahead of the wide receivers there, but I'm still not putting Bucky ahead of him. See, Lamar Jackson off the board at 31. Jackson Smith and Jigba goes 32. So at this point, when we start wide receiver, it would have been great to get Kyron Williams making it to see at the end of the third, right? But that's not happening here. Worthy goes. We'll take Devontae Adams. I've drafted very little Devontae Adams when he was going like ahead of Jackson Smith and Jigba. But I'll balance out some exposures, and we will mix him in here with the Matthew Stafford injury causing him to fall. So one thing that we have to think about is we're going to be on the clock at pick 59 and 62. What are the players in that range for us? It's like RJ Harvey, DeAndre Swift at running back, wide receiver, it's Rome Odunze, Chris Olave. So I don't know if we're that excited to pass on running back here. If we were to look at running back, it's between Breece, James Cook. Breece looked like he was going to be in a committee based off preseason usage. I would expect that Breece Hall is a faller at this point. George Kittle still has just the perfect setup there in San Fran. So we're going to roll the dice. This is a pretty big risk not going with a running back in the first 4 rounds. But with the expectations that I would have for the Breece Hall fall with the preseason usage, I think we have to take Kittle here. Okay. So let's see. Everett says, Mason, when I enter my ESPN league to my teams, it says it needs credentials. Any fix? Okay, so just in case y'all don't know, once you draft your redraft team, you can actually link it to the My Teams page on flogfantasy.com and get a bunch of interesting views, get like the best players on your waiver wire, get the power rankings in your league. So like, here's an example. Like, I have the Flock 18 Dynasty League linked to my account. If you want to hit add new, you can add a sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo league. So Yahoo, you just have to sign into Yahoo and then you're good to go. Sleeper, you just have to copy and paste your sleeper ID. It's super easy. ESPN is a pain in the butt. You have to essentially install a browser extension. You have to make sure that you're signed into ESPN on another window. And you have to open the extension and hit the big sync button. ESPN makes you have like some private credentials that are almost impossible to find if you're not just an absolute computer diehard, which I would have no idea how to do it. So we built out like an entire system on the site to make it as easy as possible for you. But the recommendation that I would have when you're linking your ESPN teams is do it on the desktop and do it on Google Chrome, which I know is a pain in the butt. I know the majority of y'all are on your phone right now, but you only have to do it once, and then you can have your team in your league linked there forever, and you can use it on your phone. So you just have to do it one time. Rule says, Mason will get another flex rankings before this Saturday. Not a YouTube video, but you will get the updates on the site, and you will get the updated draft sheets posted as well. So we'll have all the updated 50 draft sheets for all the different league settings updated on Friday. And then the overall rankings, we keep these up to date on the site literally every single day. Like, I already updated my rankings today with the news that we had with the Tajee Spears injury, which previously I liked Tajee Spears a lot, but with the high ankle sprain, obviously we had to move Spears down and we had to move Tony Pollard up. Seven Head says, do you auto draft the other draft? I'm trying not to. We keep on getting autoed, but let's see. DK Metcalf off the board at pick 53. Yes, I did see the guard for the Eagles got carted off at practice, which is obviously not the best news. Okay. DK Metcalf off the board at pick 53. Trevion Henderson goes 55. If we would have got Trevion Henderson falling to us at the 5-6 turn, that would have just been an absolute dream. But after the after the preseason game, that's just not happening anymore. Okay, Alvin Kamara off the board, 58. Jalen Waddle goes 57. So obviously it's not a surprise to anybody. When we go 0 running backs to the first 4 rounds, we are kind of having to look at running back here at the turn if it's an option for us. So we're going to take James Conner. I definitely have drafted a lot more Trey Benson this year than I have James Conner, but let's run it. Rome Odunze off at pick 60. Let's see if we get RJ Harvey on the way back. RJ Harvey would be the plan A. Okay, what are you doing here, buddy? We're going to go RJ Harvey off the board at 62. So now running back, we have James Conner, RJ Harvey, wide receiver, Nico, Brian Thomas, Devontae Adams. We have George Kittle at tight end. So overall, I actually really like the team. Like if we would have seen Flowers and Zay make it to us here at like 59 and 62, I'd have been really upset with our decision to take George Kittle over Breece Hall. But based off the running backs that we get here, I'm not going to cry about it. I think we did just fine. Okay. And let's move. FF Ryan, if you're having any issues with the mock drafts on flockfantasy.com, please just send a message in the site issues section of the Discord, and one of the devs will be happy to help you out. AJ says Harvey is in a committee. Can you please point to me one running back that goes at pick 62 or later that's not in a committee? That would just be very interesting to see if there is one. Because if there's like a bell cow running back that's going to play 80% of the snaps like Kyron Williams that I could have gotten at pick 83, I will fully admit to everybody here that I guess maybe I should take that player. Let's see. Bulldog says there are maybe like 3 to 5 backs that aren't in a committee. So please, real quick, this is a very fun exercise. And this is what I really like now that we just have so many tools on the site that I can just pull these up so easily. Can y'all please tell me the running backs last year that were not in committees? Let's try to name 10. 10 running backs last year that were 3 down bell cows. Let's go for it. Let me hear it. Because I will just prove to you right now. So Kyron, yes, Kyron Williams is the one running back that you can very easily point at and you can go, you know what? Kyron Williams was a bell cow. Let's pull him up. Last season, he was number 1 in the NFL with his snap rate at 88%. Insane. Let's get some other one. We got James Cook, question mark. All right, well, let's go ahead and let's see what the snap rate was for James Cook, and let's see if he was in a committee. James Cook played 49% of the snaps for the Buffalo Bills offense last year. So, yeah, James Cook was in a committee. Let's see. Derrick Henry. Ooh, famous Derrick Henry doesn't get off the field, not in a committee whatsoever. Ooh, actually, never mind. Derrick Henry played 59% of the snaps for the Baltimore Ravens. Let's see if we got another. We got Kamara. Okay. Let's pull this up real quick. I don't know what Kamara's snap rate is off the top of my head. Maybe Kamara got up there to like 80% with Kyron. Let's see. Kamara was pretty much the lead back here, pretty confidently, 73%. 7th in the NFL. But the point is that the vast majority of running backs in the NFL are in some type of committee. Like if you could get a running back that's going to see every single touch and play 88% of the snaps like Kyron Williams, that's what I need you to do. Please, for the love of God, shoot me a message on Discord and tell me who it is. Okay. Sam Laporta off the board at pick 79. Let's see what happens. There's a tool that we are going to make on the site next year, specifically flockfantasy.com, obviously. I have no idea what they're doing on Underdog, but it will help you with your Underdog drafts, and I really wish I had it now. Okay, Jaden Reed off the board at 81. Mahomes goes 82. Dear God, what the hell do I do here? I think I go Godwin. So let me show you all this real quick. Most season-long props for injured wide receivers, sportsbooks aren't putting out yet. Or like the potential suspension guys. Like I can't really find a lot of sportsbooks to give us Rashee Rice receiving yards and receiving touchdown marks. Like Jordan Addison, sportsbooks didn't really have him out. Brandon Ayuk, they didn't really have him out. They have him for Godwin, though. And they have Godwin for 725 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns, higher or lower. So I think Godwin here at like wide receiver 46 may not be the worst pick in the world. Okay, Khalil Shakir goes. We are going to take Baker Mayfield. Baker and Godwin have been falling beyond this point, but I'm going to be boring. I will reach on them. I'll get the stack here. I think you have natural regression in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. And at the same time, I think we probably end up seeing Chris Godwin miss the beginning of the season. But again, Chris Godwin was the wide receiver 2 in points per game last year. I'm not drafting him at the wide receiver 46, expecting to get the same thing. I'm just hoping that we get a couple usable weeks. But we'll see together. And let's see. TJ Hawkinson goes 89. And then, like I said, I'll post all this stuff on the site for y'all. I'm looking at a bunch of different sports books and just trying to find the median between all of them and the closest bets that are minus 110 on each side. I have it done for wide receiver. I have it done for the team total points as well, but I don't have the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers done. But this will be posted on flockfantasy.com. I'll probably paywall it, probably won't make it free, or we'll see. Maybe it's free. Now we have Kyler going at 92 to the Hurts team to pair up with Marvin Harrison. We have Bo Nix off the board at 93. And obviously, if y'all want to get access to everything on the site, like our 50 draft sheets, I'd highly recommend you take advantage of the Underdog deal for that, to be honest. Like, if that's the only thing you care about, the $10 is still cheaper than the $34 season pass that we have. But the $34 season pass that we're offering on flockfantasy.com is by far and away the best deal that we've ever had. Not even remotely close. You get the 50 draft sheets, so you can take a draft sheet to your exact league with the exact platform that you are on with your exact league settings. Those are the ones that I make, but there are 4 other draft guides made from other creators on the site. Plus, you get access to all the tools until January 1st, 2025. Get access to all the weekly rankings, all the rest of season rankings that are going to be updated every single week from every creator on the site. Plus, trade calculator, trade finder, my team's page, player comparison, range of outcomes tool. And if you use code FLOCK, I'm going to be answering your start set questions and your trade questions in the live stream every night during the season. So definitely take advantage of it. Flockfantasy.com. Use code FLOCK. You can see it on the screen right here, but I'm sure you've heard me say that 1,000 times. And I do need to give you all a massive shout out because I felt like we were taking a big risk, making it a third of the cost of an annual subscription and just way cheaper than anything we've ever had on the site. Didn't know if, because essentially triple of y'all would have had to buy it versus the annual subscription for it to, the math to end up making sense. So it felt like we were taking a big risk, but it has worked so well that it is allowing me now to invest even more into the Flock League. So thank you everyone for supporting as much as y'all have. It means the world to me. And I hope that Y'all really like what we're able to get out of it. We are going to take Shaheed. Do we take Shaheed? Yeah. We'll take the viable wide receiver at this point. In your regular redraft league, don't care about Shaheed, but in best ball, he can move the needle. And I know we already said this in the live stream yesterday or the day before, whenever we said it. And I'm not doing this as like look at me, blah, blah, blah. But I'm doing this as like I owe y'all a massive thank you. Scadaboosh is falling like a rock, but so is Ayuk. May doesn't have a stack for us. Caleb doesn't either. Can't take Spears. We're going to take Scat. But like I said, I felt like we were taking a pretty big risk with making the season pass as cheap as we did. And obviously I'm an idiot. I don't know anything about business. We've just tried to make the best product we can over the past few years on the site. And the devs have freaking killed it. But the first 9 days of August, the site had more revenue than all of August last year. So we'll see if it was just like, anybody who would have bought the season pass already bought it and we hit a saturation point, or we'll see if it keeps going. But it's looking pretty damn good at this point. Because my editor, I was talking to him about it, and he was saying that he thinks that like the casual fantasy football people who don't even care that much, he thinks that they haven't come in yet. He thinks they haven't even started watching videos. Ray Harcourt says, do you still stack and redraft? So stacking in best ball is going to be so much more important than redraft, because specifically like in this tournament, as an example, you can see that it's a tournament with 2,100 teams drafted. So you need to have a crazy outcome. Like in week 15, you have to beat 5 other teams to advance. In week 16, you have to beat 5 other teams to advance. Week 17, you have to be the highest scoring team out of 9. If you do it, turn 500 into 200,000. But you need to have a crazy high ceiling for that reason, especially in those individual weeks. So like stacking in best ball is extremely important. It's still important in your regular redraft league. Don't get me wrong. Because in your regular redraft league, you still got to beat 11 other people. I still want to be correlating my bets. Still want to be trying to make it where I'm a little more likely to get first, even if it means I'm a little more likely to get last. I just don't want to get sixth. But it's not as critical as it is in your best ball drafts. Okay. Let's see. Caleb makes it all the way down to 118. Jordan Love goes 121. So this is probably going to be a 3-quarterback build for us. Taking Kittle here, we have a little flexibility where if we really wanted to, we probably could take 3 tight ends. But if we're taking 3 quarterbacks, probably only going to take 2 tight ends. Probably won't take the third. Okay, so Marvin Mims off the board, 124. Trey Harris off the board, 125. Probably wouldn't have looked at Trey Harris myself, so kind of happy to see that. Lawrence goes 126. Lawrence would have been a natural pick for us when we're sitting here with Brian Thomas, right? Typically, you see the Lawrence team is the one at either pick 11 or pick 12, whoever took Brian Thomas. But here he goes unstacked in this draft because the Travis Hunter team didn't take him either. So let's swing this back. Dalton Kincaid goes 129. I would never do this in a super large field underdog tournament, but I do think that there is some merit here to just taking an unstacked Jared Goff. Again, a large percentage of people watching this, I completely understand the thought process, are very much used to drafting in Basketball Mania drafts, very much used to drafting in like the $5 puppy drafts on Underdog. So they're just going to roll their eyes and they're going to hate me for that selection. But I don't think it's the worst thing in the world in a small field tournament like this. Now, the ideal would have been that we got CJ Stroud on the way back around at 134 as well. But this team, I believe, decides to take an unstacked CJ Stroud just to make sure you're getting the quarterback points in a smaller field contest. I think we can go Ramondre. I mean, obviously, Ramondre isn't the most exciting player, but you're kind of at a point of the draft where a lot of these guys are just handcuffs. If I reach on Dallas Goedert here, I'd be comfortable only taking 2 tight ends, which is actually what I'm going to do. Let's just think about this for one more second. Okay. Yeah, we're going to take Dallas Goedert. I don't think structurally it makes too much sense, but not doing it for any other reason, then I think Dallas Goedert's the best pick on the board in round 12. So we're going to take him. Okay. Desire Best says the Bigsby Rise is crazy. I used to get him at pick 160. The thing with Bigsby for me is, again, I like the player to a certain extent. Like, he was either our first or second most drafted round 18 player on Underdog last year, which worked out for us. It's the only time any of my round 18 players have ever done well. 99% of the time, whoever I take in round 18 is a complete zero. But the hesitation that I have with taking Bigsby in a range where it's like, oh, okay, well, there are actual players with upside here, is Bigsby doesn't have any receiving upside. At least at this point in his NFL career, you really haven't seen Bigsby ever go out there and draw targets on third down. And Will says, why didn't you draft Stroud over Goff for the stack? Because I expected Stroud to make it back to us. I didn't think that team would take Stroud. Damari Douglas off the board at 143. Douglas has been a pretty big riser. I mean, here he's 2 picks back-to-back with Kyle Williams. But we're to the point of the draft where all the wide receivers that are going at this point, I would say there's no reason for you to consider them in your regular redraft league. If you're drafting in like a 12-team league on ESPN, don't go out there and take Romeo Doubs. Don't take Demario Douglas. Don't take any of those players in your draft. Take running backs that are potentially an injury away from starting, like Trey Benson. John says ESPN should have bought this too with their NFL deal. You're telling me, my friend. What else I got to do, ESPN? Do I have to officially fix the hairline and go to Turkey? Is that what needs to be done? I'll do it. I'll do it. So at this point, when we go with Dallas Goedert, we're done taking tight ends. We are quarterback, running back, wide receiver through the rest of this draft. And I'd say running back's definitely our weakest position. We have James Conner, RJ Harvey, Cam Scatterbo at running back. Wide receiver, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, Shaheed. Tight end, George Kittle, Dallas Goedert. Quarterback, Baker stacked with Godwin. We have an unstacked Jared Goff as well. So, running back's definitely a need. Vinny says, you need to run 200 miles in order for ESPN to buy you out. Don't tempt me. Do not tempt me. Braylon Allen, I was honestly hoping to get Braylon here. Isaac Grindo goes. God dang, we're at a point. Okay. Again, y'all can scream at me for this. We're going to take the unstacked Michael Penix. We're going to be done at quarterback. Okay. And then the thing is, obviously Keenan is the massive riser at this point. But can I pass on a running back? Like, we just need him. Spogslayer is saying he is going to have to sell Flock Fantasy after I take him to small court Small claims court for taking my money. What the hell are you talking about, my guy? Bryce Young goes 157. Between Algier and Nick Chubb, obviously Algier has a much higher ceiling if you were to get an injury to Bijan. Chubb has a path to potentially start week 1. We're going to go Algier. We'll just have an Atlanta Falcons turn here. Yes, the big Q was really tempting me. He looked me right in the eyes and said, "Please, sir. Please. You're the only one. You're the only one who loves me. My own mother doesn't love me as much as you do, Mason." Which is a sad reality, but the big Q, you're going to have to find another home in this draft. I need a running back. Okay. Geno Smith goes 162. Spog is here to stay. He is here to take me to small claims court. Houday says, you had Harvey in the thumbnail, so you had to take him in this draft. That is true. That is true, my friend. So Jerome Ford, Nick Chubb do end up going off the board here. 163, 164. And again, the thing is, if it wasn't for me drafting Quentin Johnston, his real ADP would be about in round 17. But because I take him in every single draft, I artificially boost up his ADP to the 14th round. So if I don't take him, you will just see that slide until we're on the clock again at pick 179, where we'll welcome him back to his true home. Desire Bass says, it's crazy that Addison has been suspended, but Rice hasn't yet. Better get suspended soon. It will be very interesting if we have the draft in the Flock League on Saturday and we still don't have the Rice news. But we'll see. Ray says, trying to buy the pass, but don't see to where put the Flock promo code. If you go to your account page, there'll be a little section there where you can insert a promo code. The promo code is used when you set up your account, not when you make a purchase, essentially. So Quentin Johnston here goes after Thornton and after Dimey Brown. I know that they just brought in Keenan to just say, the big Q, you're nothing to us. We'll sign Mike Williams. We'll draft Trey Harris. We'll sign Keenan Allen. We'll do anything to make sure that you can't touch the football field. But I stand by, at this cost, Quentin Johnston still the best pick on the board. Okay. McMillan goes 177. Where can we possibly go? We're not taking quarterback. We're not taking tight end. We're just running back, wide receiver. Is it the Ollie Gordon strong game that's having Jalen Wright fall? Do we just take another rookie running back with Woody Marks? We'll do it. Take Woody Marks here, 179. Pretty much just a receiving back. Would be a lot more exciting in a full PPR format rather than a half PPR league. Mike Gesicki off. I know it's probably not the move. But I do keep taking a lot of Michael Wilson. I think the Cardinals' offense shouldn't be bad. And at the same time, I think he does have a good shot to be in two wide receiver sets. I don't think he's any good. In a regular redraft league, I'd never touch this dude. But in best ball, I think we could get some usable weeks. Zaire Best is, how is Gesicki still getting drafted? Yeah, Gesicki goes 181. I haven't taken Gesicki since The Noah Fant signing, I was already underweight Gesicki, though. So I kind of got lucky, to be honest. I definitely got lucky. Okay. Chig goes 186. Spog Slayer is now saying that we are selling an amazing $34 deal. I'd highly recommend taking advantage of it, even though he is taking me to small claims court. That is interesting. Okay, so Jack Besh off the board 189. Jonnu Smith goes 190. I do love the Jonnu Smith price tag here at 190. Like, realistically, too, if you look at where he goes in, like, ESPN, Sleeper, Yahoo drafts, like, redraft leagues, Jonnu Smith goes, like, a low-end tight end 1. And then here in Underdog Best Ball drafts, going as a tight end 3 on most rosters. He could make it a class action. That is true. Get all of y'all on my ass. Okay. Spog next level thinking. Drive your price up, win more in court, thinking big. Spog here to stay. That is a good point. If we sell more season passes, you'll have more to win in court. Okay, Jalen Dole goes 197. We definitely are taking one more running back. We're going to get a 6th. Then I'm assuming we just take a 7th receiver. Yeah, we definitely need a 7th receiver, especially if Godwin's a dud at the beginning. But I don't think this is a bad setup. Quarterback, we have Baker stacked with Godwin, Goff unstacked, Michael Penix with Tyler Algier, if that matters. Running back, we have James Conner, RJ Harvey, Cam Scatterbo, Tyler Algier, Woody Marks, and then we'll take a random. We'll take Mile. Dear God, do we have any positive buzz on Sanders? I'm actually going to reach in Justice Hill. 100 points scored last year with the Ravens winning a lot of football games and with the fully healthy Derrick Henry. Think his role in this offense is pretty safe. I don't view Keaton Mitchell as a replacement for Justice Hill. So go Justice Hill. I think the thing is, too, we have 2 rookies. I mean, we have 3 rookies with Harvey, Scatterbo, and Woody Marks. Tyler Algier, just a straight-up handcuff. So we do need some usable weeks at the beginning of the season if we can get it. Will Shipley goes 205. Like, I think the Will Shipley ceiling is so much higher than Justice Hill's, but again, I don't think Will Shipley does you anything for week 1. And then I think we go Lockett here. Or you know what? Let's mix in Jalen Coker. I'm very much underweight Jalen Coker. I've drafted this dude literally not at all. But looking good in the preseason. A bunch of smart people really like him. Never denied the fact that he did have a better rookie year than Xavier Legette. So we will take him. And let's move this down. And let's hop in another Flock community contest. So again, go to Underdog. Scroll to the right on the NFL tab, and you'll see the Flock Community Contest. Here, this is a $10 buy-in. I really like the structure of this tournament. But if you are brand new to Underdog and you're only going to deposit like $10 or something, you can get in puppy tournaments as well, which are only $5. So let's hop in. This thing is filled. Change that to $10, and we're good to go. And we're at the 111. So 111, really, really good draft spot. I know we said this in the last draft, but we have 14 to 15 round 1 talents, in my opinion, that you're essentially able to lock yourself into here with the final 2 picks of round 1. We got Stumps in this draft with us at 9. We got Master Shake in this draft with us at 12. Happy to have y'all. And I did see a question asking how often we live stream drafts. I stream drafts every single night. And when I say every night, I mean every night. We'll not take a single day off of streaming until Christmas, realistically. But before NFL kickoff, we stream drafts every night. And then during the NFL season, we answer fantasy football questions every night. Okay. Ray says, I wish Underdog would do another dollar tournament. It sold out so fast. I only got in 3. It was like Underdog dropped the dollar tournament and had something crazy like 100,000 entries. And I saw it and then I was like, oh, maybe we'll do this in the live stream. And it legitimately filled within like 5 hours. I was like, I had no idea that many people were on Underdog. Teeny says, could you do a draft on Flock? Yeah, we'll do a mock draft on flockfantasy.com after this. Tom says, how do I sync my laptop time to draft on Flock Fantasy? If your laptop time is off, like you won't be able to get in a draft, just go to your system settings on your laptop, hit like update time, make it the actual time, and then you should be good to go. And if you ever have any issues with like mock drafts on flockfantasy.com or something, just send it in the side issue section and one of the devs would be happy to help you. I mean, side issue section of the Discord. So Malik Neighbors off the board at 9. Puka Nacua goes at 10. We will take a Monroe St. Brown. We're going to keep it stupid simple. We are just going to take... Here's what I'm going to do. I'll take A-Chan over Genty. If you look at my rankings on the site, we have A-Chan over Genty. But nope, we are going to get Genty, it looks like. I'll still take Genty over Derrick Henry for sure, given the receiving usage. Like, you go back to Ashton Genty's final year in college, you actually have Ashton Genty... Sorry, his second to last season, his sophomore year, he led all running backs in the country in receiving yards. Like, he is a very capable receiving back. Now, the thing that you have with Derrick Henry that you don't with Ashton Genty is obviously the fact that you do just see Derrick Henry in a significantly better offense. Okay, so London, A.J. Brown both go. One thing that was interesting is when we were getting that sportsbook data for the site together, the London A.J. Brown tier I viewed very differently than like a Monroe St. Brown, Brian Thomas, Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins. But sportsbooks have a much bigger tier drop from like A.J. Brown and Drake London to the Ladd McConkey, T. Higgins range than they do from like Ryan Thomas and Monroe St. Brown, Puka to London and A.J. Brown. Like, sportsbooks are kind of putting A.J. Brown and Drake London up here with these other wide receivers, which I was very interested to see. Makes me feel better about drafting them for sure. Okay, Chase Brown goes pick 22. And the video that I recorded that will come out tomorrow is hopefully one that's useful for y'all. I don't know if it'll be useful or interesting. So for the Flock League, we're determining our draft order on Thursday. So I kind of got to figure out what section I want to be drafting in. Like, what pick do I want? So I actually made a video for the channel ranking the best draft slots in 12-team drafts and in 10-team drafts. So Trey McBride off the board at pick 28. Luke says we're just about to ask for a video about that. Hopefully it comes out well. I've never made that type of video before. Sometimes like a video like that, I'll find myself just rambling. Or I'm like, I don't know if I'm making any sense. I don't know if this is easy to follow along. Spog says Lamb, Chase Brown, Hill. This is the Spog squad. So we got Spog out here at pick 3. If you take down this tournament for $10,000, I will see you in small claims court. I'll tell you that much. I'm coming for that. Don't even bother winning, because that's just going to go straight into I'm going to inform Underdog of the lawsuit before they even pay it out. Go like, hey, y'all may want to hold this in escrow. I know spa guy's actually going to be able to get it. Kyron Williams off the board. We're going to take Mike Evans. We're going to go Genty in round 2 here. I definitely want to get a wide receiver at the 3-4 turn. Brees goes 36. George Kittle goes 37. Do we take an unstacked Daniels? Do we go with Terry? Do we go with Worthy? Go with an unstacked Hurts? I'll go with an unstacked Daniels. And this is actually a good idea. So let me see this. Turn Theory says, Mason, how often do you update your draft spreadsheet? So the 50 draft sheets that we have on the site, I update those every Friday. I would love to do it quicker, but it takes so damn long. Like this last Friday when I did it, as I was updating all of them, I watched Borat, I watched Balls of Fury, I watched The Internship, I watched Hard Knocks episode 1, I watched probably another hour or 2 of YouTube videos. Like it literally took me absolutely all day. So like the most I can do it is once a week. So I've been doing it every Friday. That way, because I'm assuming the majority of y'all draft on Saturday and Sunday, and obviously Friday night. So hopefully you can have the most up-to-date version. But the rankings on the site, I update literally every single day. So like I updated the rankings today on the site to account for the Tony Pollard rise with the Tajay Spears high ankle sprain. But Ray says, if you win any serious money, do they give you all of it or do they withhold taxes? So I know I've told this story 1,000 times, so I apologize, people. But so whenever I won the $150,000, just in case you haven't heard, Underdog at the time had 2 different ways to withdraw. They had either PayPal or they had like a direct wire to your bank. I tried to withdraw the $150K on PayPal and they sent me a message going like, hey, they didn't say this, but I mean, if I was irresponsible for the reaching out, this would have been my message. Hey, idiot, we're not going to send the $150,000 through PayPal and pay all the fees with it. Give us your bank info so we'll wire it to you. And then, so I gave them the bank info and then they just wired me the money. And they don't take any out for taxes. Like if you win like $150,000, you have to pay taxes on it and they'll send you a tax form, but they don't like withhold the money, the percentage of the money and pay the taxes on there. And they send it all to you and it's your responsibility. Joe says, how was the Happy Gilmore party? It was great. We had a big Happy Gilmore party last night at the house. Bunch of people pulled up. Anybody from this live stream? Because if y'all weren't in the live stream last night, we gave out the address, the time. So we had a lot of y'all out here to the house last night. And it was a hell of a lot of fun. Hopefully y'all had fun. But Scott says he took a check. Well, I'm not that old. I'm a young buck. I don't work with checks. James Conner off at 57. We took Travis Hunter in the last flock draft we just did. And I think we'll run it back. Obviously played offense and defense first game of the preseason. He was with the first team offense. He was with the second team defense. Didn't look great on defense, but it's the preseason. And honestly, I would love it if he turned out to just be a horrible corner and be horrible on defense. And they decided, well, you know what? Maybe he's a great receiver, and let's just leave him there. That would be the ideal. Antler Eye says, hey, bud, did you get my email? I have not really checked. I will check after this live stream, my friend. Flock says, do you always profit every year? No, we do not always profit on Underdog. The thing with Underdog tournaments that you really need to look at is like, for example, last year I didn't profit, even though I showed you all the advance rate stuff that we had last season. We put ourselves in a position in week 17 to potentially make millions of dollars. And then the ball didn't bounce our way, so we ended up losing a little bit of money. But if you look at the structure of like any tournaments, like the Flock tournament as an example, it's a $10 buy-in with $10,000 to first place. So that should immediately tell you that the vast majority of people drafting in this should lose a little bit of money, and the people who win money will win a lot. So your experience with like any type of tournament structure, whether it's DFS, whether it's best ball, whether it's poker, I don't want to say it's impossible, but if somebody tells you that they are profitable every single year when it's a single slate, they're probably lying to you. Like, I guess if you said like DFS, like daily DFS, like if you're just entering contests every Sunday, it's a 17-week sample there. So you have way more slates. So I can very easily see somebody being profitable every season. But if somebody told you they were profitable every Sunday playing DFS, just the structure of the game makes it where that's not going to happen. Specifically if you're in tournaments. Okay. Reed says, wait, didn't you win like 14K last year? Technically, I won more than that. But last year I did like a bunch of $500 drafts and a couple of $1,000 drafts. So technically I think I maybe won about like 20K, but I don't think so. Winning 20K definitely made it where I didn't lose much money, but I wouldn't feel comfortable saying like, oh, I made money. I would imagine that we lost a little, but we ended up winning more than 20,000 last year, like quote unquote, getting $20,000 back. I think I spent more than $20,000 in drafts. Where to take TJ Hawkinson? John says I'm still positive on Underdog. Yeah, well, I'm still very, very positive over our entire time drafting on Underdog. Like realistically, I could have 7 garbage seasons where I just lose every single one of my entries and I'd still be positive. I think we go with Brian Robinson here as our second running back. We only have Genty, so we'll take B-Rob. Not the biggest B-Rob guy, but should be a good offense. Okay. Move this over. But yeah, I'm assuming you're referring to that like 14,000 from the screenshot I showed yesterday of like us advancing our teams to week 17 and it's saying like those teams were worth 14,000. But that's like if you get dead last in every tournament at that point, it's like 14,000 payouts. But we didn't get dead last in every week 17 pod. We didn't get first any of them, so I didn't win any tournament and didn't make a bunch of money. But so I think in terms of total dollars back, we got more than 14. Mike says, just catching up in the stream, but did you see Aaron Rodgers' profile pic on Underdog? What is it? Let me see. Who is that guy? Let me zoom in. I can't really see on my computer. Can y'all tell me who that is? That's the most I can zoom in. Edison says Lamb out 5 to 7 weeks, reportedly. Yeah, I don't think so. I think if we got a report that Lamb was out 5 to 7 weeks, everybody would be losing their minds. But the Lamb getting tackled by the ref was pretty funny. We got John out in the live stream. John, you better be making the meetup next week. Let me know if you're going to be there. And of course, if y'all haven't heard, we have a meetup in Austin, Texas next week. It's exactly 1 week from today, August 17th. Everybody from the Flock League is going to be there. It's Revelry Kitchen and Bar in Austin, Texas from 4:30 to 8:30. So there you go. Pause screen if you need any more details than that. Completely free. Really, I'm going to be paying you because we're giving away free merch and stuff. But hopefully you can make it. We are going to take Ayuk at 107. Hopefully we get a decent week 17 performance. Obviously, we're not expecting him to be ready week 1. Brock Purdy goes 108. I was taking Ayuk with the expectations we got Brock Purdy on the way back. Maybe I should have just seen that team had George Kittle. But we can take Justin Fields. Fields gives you the rushing upside where you don't particularly need a stack. Looking at our other options, I guess we could go with Lawrence later. We could go Goff now to pair up with the Monroe St. Brown. Let's just take Zach Charbonnet. Let's kind of kick the can down the road at quarterback. We have Jaden Daniels for the advancement. And we're going to have Daniels unstacked as well. So I don't know if we want to be taking a second unstacked quarterback here. I'd at least want one of them. Tom, yes, we're going to do a PPR mock draft on flockfantasy.com after this. John says, talking to some baddies. If you better be pulling up to the meetup with some baddies. Andrew says, I'm moving out to Texas once I'm done with college. So if y'all are still doing the Flock meetup in 3 years, I'll see you there. How the hell do you know that you're moving to Texas 3 years from now? And I was talking to the Australian guys today at lunch about like the Flock draft week, and we were talking about like how we could potentially do it in different like areas of the world every year. Like 1 year we have the Flock League draft in London. 1 year we have the Flock League draft in Tokyo. Which we'll see how big we can make it. Like I said, I'm going to try everything I can to give us that opportunity. We'll see. Spending a lot of money on it this year. But Trey Harris goes off 122. Drake May goes 123. But what we need is we need Netflix to go, oh, this Flock League's pretty good content. Can we get this on Netflix? That'd be ideal. So McCarthy would have been a perfect fall for us to pair up with Hawk. Jordan Love goes. Ramondre Stevenson off the BP. Ferg 128. Michael Penix goes. Yeah, the Brian Thomas team's after us. So we should be able to get Trevor Lawrence here to pair up with Travis Hunter, which is exactly what we do. Ray Davis goes 132. I don't want to say anything until we're on the clock. Javonte goes, so we're going to take Tank Bigsby. Bigsby was kind of the preferred pick there. Just go in on the Jags offense. I'd hope that Lawrence can be good for kind of the first time ever. First time since college. Will says, what do you think about the targets per route run stat when evaluating wide receivers? I think it's decent. Okay, so it's called hog rate, by the way, and we actually have it on flockfantasy.com. So one thing that I want to point out is when you go to the site, obviously, like you can go ahead and you can pull up, say, CeeDee Lamb versus Justin Jefferson, and we give you like all these stats already loaded in so you can compare these guys. But you can hit compare by, and you can actually add a bunch of other stuff here. So you can see like their targets per game in the red zone from last year. And see like, oh, Justin Jefferson was 6th in the NFL in targets in the red zone. CeeDee Lamb was 15th. But we actually do have targets per snap. We have their hog rate in here as well. And my thing with it is targets per route run. I don't see how it would be more predictive than yards per route run. When yards per route run also takes into the account the average depth of target, the ability to make big plays. Where if you start looking at just targets per route run, you're going to get a lot of these guys like Josh Downs, Wan'Dale Robinson, looking really good, even if they're not going to be operating deep down the field. So I prefer yards per route run. I think like the time that, like if you're hearing a lot of people go like, oh, targets per route run, it's probably to just prop up a player like Josh Downs. I'm not telling you that Josh Downs is bad by any means, but my name's Blue. Says, any chance you do super chats tonight? My flock name is Zay. I will go ahead and I will answer your super chat right now. Let me pull it up, my friend. Bryce Young off right before us. Let's pull this up. I think we can go with Rachaad White. Actually, I'm an idiot. Rachaad White's injured. What the hell did I just do? Rachaad White got banged up. And maybe that's why we're seeing Bucky Irving go earlier now that I think about it. Yeah, come on, Mason. Get it together. Okay, Romeo Dobbs off. We're going to go with we're going to go with Brenton Strange. We'll get him paired up with Lawrence, Travis Hunter, and Tank Bigsby. I still think we can take 3 tight ends with this team. Specifically when we don't need the craziest ceiling ever in weeks 15 and 16. But let me see what we got from... You said your flock name was Zay and you sent in a super message? I don't see one from Zay, my guy. I see one from Michael, Seabor's, Gooseborn. Yeah, but if anybody has ever, like, if you've sent in a trade question or a super message on flockfantasy.com and you need an answer, like, and you're in the live stream, just definitely tell me your name on the site and I'll pull it up and I'll answer it for you right away. Okay, Nick Chubb goes. I think we can take another running. Actually, can we take another running back? We have Ginty, Brian Robinson, Sharp, Tank Bigsby, and Rachaad White. Maybe we can. Maybe we can't. Okay. Elias says, hey, I got your season pass. How do you use the sheet for a 10-team regular PPR league? So if you, let me just direct you real quick. I'll move away from that. So if you got the season pass, go to the draft guide section, then go to the 2025 flock draft sheets. Then if you're in a 10-team PPR, go here and it'll explain what the starting lineup size means. You're either going to be probably in a start 7 or start 8 league. If you're in a 10-team PPR, start 7, you're going to use page 1. 10-team start, if you draft on ESPN. If you draft on Sleeper, you'll use page 13. If you draft on Yahoo, you'll use page 25. You can go ahead and open this in another window, just copy and paste, or you can just hit the little Google sheet, and then you go to the sheet, has all the information, the master ADP across all platforms, the ADP for the platform you're drafting on, my ranking. We combine the platform you're drafting on with my ranking for that format. And then we go ahead, get the average, and then we sort by that for the power ranking. Hopefully that helps. But let me move over. We are looking for Zay super chats. Jalen McMillan, Woody Marks. I think we took, where did we take Woody Marks in the $500 draft? Hopefully after this. Okay, Pat Bryant off. Okay, Zay, I see your super message. So let me go ahead. Let's answer this. And please let me know if you're still in this, because once I answer you on the stream, I'm definitely going to mark it as complete, but I don't want to do that if you're not here. We'll take Adam Thielen. We almost took Leggett in the last draft. I'm sorry, the last round. Rico Dowdle goes 181. I don't know if I went Dimey Brown here. I think we take Cade Otton as our third tight end. So now running back, we have Ginty, Brian Robinson, Charbonnet, Tank Bigsby, Rashad White. Wide receivers, St. Brown, Mike Evans, Travis Hunter, Rome Odunze, Brandon Ayuk, Adam Thielen. Quarterback, we have Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence. Tight end, we have TJ Hawkinson, Brenton Strange, Cade Otton. We're going to take 2 wide receivers at the end of this. Okay, my name's Blue is still here. So the question that he asked was, I got the 105 in a keeper league, can't keep rounds 1 and 2. Keeping Brown round 7. Should I target wide receiver through the first 3 to 4 rounds, or what's my strategy here? Most keep players in round 7. Let me follow up with a couple things here. One, when you say you're keeping Brown, is that Chase Brown or is that AJ Brown? And then when you say you can't keep players rounds 1 and 2, does that mean you don't have draft picks rounds 1 and 2? Or nobody is keeping players in rounds 1 and 2? Happy to see you, Saram. But let me know that. Harrison says, I got the cheat sheet. How will I use my start set? Okay, I'll explain that for you in a second. I just need to make sure I can answer this or get this from my name's Blue. Elijah Arroyo goes 195. Good for us to see the tight ends off the board. We just kind of want some wide receivers falling to us. Okay, my name's Blue says Chase Brown. Last year's 1 2 can't be kept. Okay, so we have first and second round picks. So if we have Chase Brown, we're at pick 5. Guys in rounds 1 and 2 shouldn't be kept. So we should still have Bijan, Gibbs. Like, all those players should still be on the board. So there's a chance you get Bijan, Gibbs, Barkley. One of those guys at 5. I would say it's going to come down to your starting lineup requirements. So if you're in a double flex, full PPR league, I think I would agree that we want to be hammering wide receivers in rounds 3 and 4. But if it's like a single flex league, I don't mind at all you going out there and you just getting the elite quarterback. Or you getting the elite tight end. Can you let me know how many flex spots there are? Okay, LK Manor goes 205. We took Tyler Lockett 203. And then we'll take Jalen Coker here with our last pick. And then we'll bounce to a flock mock draft. Oh, meant to type in flock and it usually auto takes me to the site, but I typed in lock. Okay, so let's move this over. This is flockfantasy.com. Let's update that little thing. These are free mock drafts. Definitely not as fun as Underdog drafts, but my main redraft league drafts in 6 days. So I need to get practice in. I need to make sure I know what I'm doing, particularly with quarterback and tight end strategy. That's going to be a little bit different than best ball drafts, of course. So we are going to go to the site, and just in case you don't know, you can always go to flockfantasy.com whenever you want. And for completely free, you can hop into public 2025 drafts against other people that are pretty sharp at fantasy, or you can draft against bots with the draft simulation tool. So we're going to go ahead and get in a PPR draft. Let's join the queue. And we're going to be selecting at pick 6 in this one. And let me go through. My name's Blue, says double flex PPR. A lot of my mocks have me getting Gibbs, Lamb. 101 is drafting Bijan. So double flex format, if you start with Gibbs and then you have like Gibbs and Chase Brown, then yeah, I would agree. I think you want to be hammering wide receivers in those middle rounds, like rounds 3, 5, 6, 7. And you're probably a little less likely to get the elite quarterback. But if you ended up going with like CD Lamb, Chase Brown, you have a lot more flexibility where you can take a running back if they fall to you. You can take a wide receiver. So when we're at pick 6, you just take whoever falls between Chase, Bijan, Barkley, Gibbs, Jefferson. There's not much to discuss. And CD Lamb. And CD Lamb's the guy who falls for us. I have CD Lamb ranked at pick 5. I have him one slot ahead of Justin Jefferson. So we're going to take him here, and we won't have too much hesitation. Okay, so let me answer. I know we have a bunch of different questions, but I'm going to mark that as complete for you. My name's Blue. I hope I was able to help you out there. Everett says, hey, Mason, I'm about to screenshot a team. What screenshots do you recommend I submit with it? So if you are going to submit a team for review on flockfantasy.com, do not screenshot it. We have screenshots available to you if you play on like a very weird platform that we don't link with. Like if you play on CBS, if you play on like Flea Flicker, MFL, something along those lines, then yeah, probably you're not going to be able to link it. But if you play on ESPN, Sleeper, or Yahoo, link your team when you submit it to me. That way I can see all the other teams in your league and hopefully come up with some trades for you and get a much better sense of everything. So, and if you can't do that, I would recommend sending me screenshots of your team, of course, and your league settings. Okay, so Derrick Henry off 205. We have a lot of flexibility when we start with Lamb. My highest ranked players are Brock Bowers, Chase Brown, Jonathan Taylor. Highest ranked across all the experts on the site are Brock Bowers, Bucky Irving, Chase Brown. And we'll see what this team here does at 7. They go Bowers. I'm going to go with my highest ranked player. We're going to take Chase Brown. But let me explain. I know we had that question asking about submitting the start set questions. So Ilya says, hey, I got your season pass. How do I use the... No, we actually answered that one. Harrison says, about the cheat sheet, how I'll use my answer start set question. So if you bought the season pass, you should have 4 free vouchers with your account where you'll be able to submit start sit questions. You'll be able to submit trade questions. And with that, what you'll do is you can hit this little personalized advice button in the top right corner at any time. And you can go ahead, get a trade question. You don't have to link your league. You can just go ahead, fill out your league settings if you want. League settings are going to be pretty important. Or if you have your league linked, you just go ahead and click your league. You say, like, I want to trade Drake May, and I'm going to get back Caleb Williams. And then you go ahead, select Mason. And if you bought the season pass, you'll have a free trade question in your account. And instead of this being $5, it'll be free for you. So hopefully that helps. And then I know you didn't see the start set option there, but it's because we just have it hidden at the moment because it's August 10th and I don't want to be answering start set questions on August 10th. Okay, Alvin Kamara goes at the 305. So we should get a pretty exciting fall. Like we get Kyron Williams, highest available of my rankings. Expert average has Marvin Harrison. I moved Amari Hampton behind Kyron Williams after the injury to the left tackle in Los Angeles. So we're going to take Kyron Williams here at the 306. Harold says, where's the Excel ranking sheet on the Flock Fantasy website? Go to the draft guides section on the left-hand side. Hit draft guides. And then there are a bunch of draft guides posted from all the creators on the site. But if you go to the 2025 Flock draft sheets, they should be able to help you there. And yes, this is a PPR mock draft. So it's just got in. How do I use the most updated Yahoo rankings of the website? Again, my friend, go to that sheet. Hit that. Go ahead. And this will be the Yahoo section. So there are 12 different Yahoo sheets. Make sure you find your exact league settings. The league settings that are closest to you out of these 12 options, which I kind of explain those adjustments over here if you can't find the exact one. And then if it's like page 32, you'll go down to the bottom, go to page 32, and that'll be the sheet you use. Okay, so George Kittle off the board, 402. Kenneth Walker, 403. So I really like when we start with Lamb and we get the running back values. And I also like the fact that I had that video where we were like, oh, don't draft Kyron Williams in round 2 if you can get Chase Brown in round 3. And here we end up just drafting both of them and it's flipped. Okay, Mike Evans off the board at the 406. We're not going to get an elite quarterback. They're all gone. My highest ranked player is Xavier Worthy. The expert average is highest ranked player is Tet McMillan. I'm going to go ahead and take Xavier Worthy, though. Okay. See, Grant says Lamar before Allen's a little bit surprising. They're in the same tier. I'm not going to fault anybody for wanting to go either way there. Like, I prefer Josh Allen just because we haven't ever seen him miss games. But at the same time, we've never seen Josh Allen get to the same ceiling that you've had from Lamar Jackson. So, like, at least historically, up until this point, Lamar's had a higher ceiling than Allen, but Allen's had a higher floor than Lamar. Oh, and I forgot to say that the devs pushed out a big update to the drafts today that you won't notice UI-wise. It's not like the recent updates. It's bot behavior improvement on the back end. So if you're doing the draft simulations on the site, you should notice that the bots are a lot smarter. Okay, Devonta Smith goes 502, DK Metcalf 503, DJ Moore 504. Where are we at? We have RJ Harvey as our highest ranked player. Expert average should have Rashee Rice, Travis Hunter. I need to move Rashee Rice up the ranks. I'm going to flip Rice ahead of Jameson. I got a little nervous with Rice. Once we had the 3-game suspension happen for Addison, maybe I just like Addison a little too much, and maybe I was just fooling myself thinking that we weren't going to see the 3 games. But I was like, oh, that's kind of worst case scenario for Jordan Addison. Maybe the NFL gives Rashee Rice worst case scenario here. I got a little scared off. But realistically, the ceiling that you have with Rice in comparison to somebody like Waddle's too much. So we'll move Rice up a bit. But Jason says, do you prefer JSN or Amari and Hampton? It really is going to depend on your league settings. So after we take RJ Harvey, you have Rashee Rice and Travis Hunter immediately going. So it would be nice if we can get a wide receiver on the way back. Caleb Johnson goes 601. Jameson makes it all the way down to the 6 as well as Ridley. Like, I find myself whenever I'm drafting on Flock, or whenever I'm drafting, whenever I made those videos of like explaining Yahoo ESPN sleeper strategy, I'm just taking a lot of Calvin Ridley. Jordan Addison goes 606. Sam Laporta is my highest ranked player. Expert average has Sam Laporta here as well. I'm obviously not taking a running back here when we already have 3. So let's go Laporta. Let's go my highest ranked. And then we're going to go wide receiver, almost regardless of what happens in round 7 and 8. Igbuka goes 6 and 9. Just moving up dramatically. Joe Mixon 701. Okay, I'm just a little bit stressed if we're going to get a receiver or not. I think we should get one. So I moved Tony Pollard pretty high in my rankings after the injury to Spears. And y'all know, I mean, I was previously really fading Pollard in favor of just getting Spears at a discount. But I don't know if we want to be taking our 4th running back ahead of our 3rd receiver. The team right before us was kind of in a similar spot, and they took Kelsey. So looking at the teardrop that we're going to have soon, the thing is, and this is maybe something I need to get better about, and it's a valuable lesson that I definitely learned doing a lot of mock drafts on the site today, because I was having to like make the video of the best draft slots to choose from. You get to a point at about wide receiver 50 where there are no wide receivers left. And it's like, oh, okay, none of the receivers after like wide receiver 50, you could talk me into having upside. So we are going to take our 3rd wide receiver, because I really do think we need to get our 4th wide receiver by round 8. And if we're looking at the Flock League as well, double flex, full PPR, 12-team league, I think that could be a general rule that I make for myself there. Is I am stressing. Like, I need to have a team that I like. I need to have a team that I'm rooting for. So Matthew Golden off the board in the 8th. Love the Matthew Golden pick. Again, I didn't like Matthew Golden as a prospect from a dynasty perspective, but realistically, you just have to admit that the guy steps into maybe the best situation of any rookie wide receiver. Tyler Warnoff, 804. Jacoby Myers almost makes it back to us. My highest ranked player is Juwan Jennings. Expert average is also Juwan Jennings here. We knew we needed at least 2 wide receivers within the first 50. I think we're about to see the teardrop. We may not be able to get one at 9. So let's just go ahead and let's make sure we get Jennings. John says, what is the prize for winning the Flock League? 1, all the glory in the world. And 2, you will see on Thursday. It's going to be pretty big. You won't see on Thursday. The creators will see on Thursday. You'll see whenever the video comes out. But it's going to be pretty exciting. And the punishment's going to be pretty big too. So we do have the first 50 wide receivers officially off with like Cooper Kupp there at 50. And Kupp's kind of the last wide receiver that I would see and be like, okay, I'm comfortable. It's like after Kupp, the wide receivers like Jaden Higgins, Brandon Ayuk. Which don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and say like Jaden Higgins and Brandon Ayuk are garbage, but Andrews goes 903. Darnell Mooney, wide receiver 52. So we have a couple quarterbacks that are going to be in play for us. But a big thing that we have to think about realistically is the Jalen Hurts team, Kyler Murray team, Patrick Mahomes team, Jaden Daniels are all on the other side of the board of us. So realistically, like how big of a gap is there between Baker, Bo Nix, and Caleb, Brock Purdy, Justin Fields? As we'd be guaranteed to get one of Caleb, Purdy, and Fields. But what we could do as well is, since we wait this long to get our first quarterback, we could go ahead and take Baker Mayfield here and actually get like Caleb as our second quarterback in round 10. So we'll take Baker at the 906. Again, a big thing that we've highlighted when it comes to like those ESPN drafts, those Yahoo drafts, like the regular redraft leagues, if you're looking at their ADP, their Baker Mayfield, Bo Nix go off the board in like the 5th round, the 6th round a lot of times, which I do think is very bad. And in those style contests or in those style drafts, I definitely just want to be reaching a couple rounds and go get Josh Allen, go get Lamar, or waiting until the very, very end of your draft and almost just streaming. But here I think this is an appropriate price for Baker and Bo Nix. So we'll take him. So, and I know people are saying the Flock League draft should be a live stream. Or realistically, for like everything we want to do with it, it would just be very hard to make it a live stream. I don't want to say it would be impossible, but it'd be very, very tough. And you know what I'm going to do after this live stream? I'm going to start another live stream right after this, answering questions from flockfantasy.com. Because whenever I pulled up My Name's Blue super chat, I realized that we have a lot of questions that are waiting on us and we need to start answering. We're going to take Brock Purdy. Looking on the other side of the board, there are still 2 teams without quarterbacks. This Burrow team could potentially take another. So we're able to just take Brock Purdy here as our second quarterback, effectively play the matchups between Baker and Purdy, or one of these guys may turn into total dust, or the other one could just absolutely break out and be an every week starter. Okay. So yeah, after we're done with this draft, I definitely want to stay until the very end of this. I'm not going to end it early because I want to see where our team ends up with the league analyzer. Ramondre Stevenson off at the 10-10. Dak goes 10-12. So once we go Purdy as our second quarterback, we are kind of hoping to see these quarterbacks off the board. Running back, we have Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, RJ Harvey. Wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Xavier Worthy, Deebo Samuel, Jawan Jennings. Tight end, we have Sam Laporta, quarterback, Baker, and Purdy. I don't know if I would love this team if this is what I walked away with. Which is sad, too, because I think like pick 6 is maybe the best place to pick from this year. So if I get like the best pick and I still don't love my team, I don't think we're doing a good job. McCarthy goes the 11:05. So we're done with quarterbacks. We were just running back, wide receiver, tight ends. Dallas Goedert, Dalton Kincaid are 2 highest ranked players. We have Laporta. I don't know if that's our number 1 priority. I guess Shaheed is kind of like the last wide receiver that we can get here. We know for a fact that he's going to be in 2 wide receiver sets in New Orleans. The offense projects to be the second worst offense in the NFL, but maybe they surprise to the upside. So we'll take Shaheed as our wide receiver 5 and we'll call it a day at wide receiver. Goff goes 11:08. And Ball Knowledge says, Mason, will we see week 1 rankings before the season starts? Of course. I'll have week 1 rankings out that Thursday or Friday, something like that. But we'll get them out. How many days until the NFL season? Let's pull this up. I think the NFL season, did it start on 9/11 last year, or was that 2 years ago? Because this year it starts on the 4th. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7, 14, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have like 25 days until the season. Eric says, how did you do in your redraft league last year? If you watch the Flock League, you'll see that we got a bye. I finished 9-5, second best record in the league. Then my editor beat me in the second round of the playoffs, which if I was going to lose to anybody, I'm happy it's somebody that's been forced to watch every single video we put out over the past 4 years. So reality, I would love to sit, and of course I'd never admit this. I'm not even going to say it here just in case somebody sends it to him. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I would have won the championship if we made it, obviously. Okay, Vinny says last year was September 5th. Kevin says 2 years ago, 9/11 was Monday Night Football, I'm pretty sure. Okay, that makes sense. I was just thinking like, because it was the Jets with Rodgers was 9/11, right? And that's why it was like the big American thing, and he had the American flag. So I definitely think we can take a second tight end. Like if you take Laporta in the 6th, you don't need to take another. If you ever see this happen in a mock draft where like a pick skips, just refresh the page and it should fix itself. If you ever see anything weird like that happen. What the hell? My computer was making a weird noise. But if you say anything weird like that happen, just refresh the page. Trevor Lawrence goes. So expert average has Kyle Williams as the best player. I have Dallas Goedert, then Nick Chubb. I'm actually going to take Nick Chubb. Here's my 4th running back, which realistically, there's no reason I should do that because I think based off where everybody else has Nick Chubb ranked, I could realistically get him almost guaranteed in the next round. But I know I said it 1,000 times, but I like these running backs in the final 3 rounds of your draft where it's like you can see, are they starting week 1? And if they're not, then cool, we'll cut them. And Nick Chubb's one of those guys that if Joe Mixon's out and Nick Chubb is starting week 1, it's like, oh, this may be a massive value that we just got in round 12. But if Joe Mixon's out and Nick Chubb splitting the backfield, or Nick Chubb looks slow as a turtle like reports are saying, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I can just immediately cut him. Or maybe Joe Mixon just plays. So regardless of what happens, we should get some clarity with the situation. Kyle Williams goes out to 12-12. Jonathan says, why not just draft a bunch of handcuffs? Why draft Chubb? Because, again, you go ahead and you take Tyler Algier. What's going to happen between now and week 1, unless you get a Bijan Robinson injury, to make it where you know, like, oh, Tyler Algier is somebody that I just hit on. Tyler Algier is somebody that I shouldn't even think about cutting. You need a Bijan injury. Joe Mixon's already injured in Houston. Like Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb, realistically, could be just week 1 starting backs. I know I need to move him down in the ranks. We'll take the big Q for now, and then I'll look at where we're going to move him later. Okay. Michael says, hey, Mason, when can you answer my question on the site? Right after this live stream, I'm going to do a live Q&A on the site. So I'm sorry, we're not going to do it on the site. I'm going to do it on this channel. And I'll be going to be answering all the questions on the site. Because I checked, and it looks like I'm behind on some. So I'll make sure I get that done. There's no way. Jack says, had the pleasure to meet the big Q at the Chargers game today. Great guy. You should have asked for the jersey. So Hunter Henry goes 1401. Najee 1402. Najee's another player that I feel good about taking in the last round. Because from now until the start of the season, you would think that we get more information about Najee Harris's eye. Whether that's good, whether that's bad, whether that means you can't start. I mean, you can cut him or not. I don't know. But again, we'll get that clarity. And no matter what, there will be players that we want to pick up off waivers week 1. We're going to be on the clock. Expert Average has Cedric Tillman, Trey Harris, the highest ranked players. I have Leggett. And you know what? I'm going to move Cedric Tillman ahead of Leggett and Quentin Johnson in my rankings right now. Because I actually agree with the rest of the people on the site. Well, it's a garbage offense in Cleveland. Cedric Tillman's more likely than not a lock to be the wide receiver 2, like in 2 wide receiver sets. So with that in mind, like, why the hell am I going to take Leggett over him? Okay, let's see. Where are we at in the league analyzer? We're 3rd. Hell yes. Not too shabby, ladies and gentlemen. So using the expert average, we're 3rd in the league analyzer. Using my rankings, we're 2nd. Using my values, we have the 6th best quarterback room with Baker Mayfield, Brock Purdy. We have the 6th best running back room with Chase Brown, Kyren, RJ Harvey, Nick Chubb. We have the 4th best wide receiver room with Lamb, Worthy, Debo, Jennings, Shaheed, Quentin Johnson, Cedric Tillman. And we have the 8th best tight end room with Sam Laporta. So overall, not going to sit here and cry about this team. Feel like it's okay. And we are moving up. Cedric Tillman. Actually, first we need to move Keenan. We'll move Keenan ahead of the big Q. Then we'll move Cedric Tillman right ahead of the big Q as well. But appreciate y'all, of course. Thank you for drafting. We saved one of the Flock community contest drafts. So we're going to be able to draft that tomorrow night on Underdog as well in this stream. So really hope you can draft with us tomorrow night, whether that's on an Underdog Flock community contest, Best Ball Mania. We'll get in a bunch of Underdog drafts, of course. Still definitely have the most fun drafting Underdog teams. And I'll probably do another redraft, mock draft on the site just because I definitely need to be practicing for the Flock League draft. But appreciate y'all. I'm going to end this stream, and then I'm going to immediately set up a new live stream where I'm going to be answering fantasy football questions that were asked on flockfantasy.com. So if y'all want to hang out with me there, I'd be happy to see you. But if not, have a good night, and I really hope I get to see you tomorrow.